Alright, I'm completely going off script right here. Just want to talk, digest the news, think what I'm going to do from now on. The first thing I want to say is no fighting game is ever going to die. There's still tournaments close to me for King of Fighters 2002, and and Smash Bros. Will die after the hit death of the universe. So Melee will die after the hit death of the universe. So if you want to continue playing the game for the love of the game, do so. I will also, because I like it, the characters, and I like how it played. I will branch out and try to learn some other fighting games that I also will like. A friend gifted me Guilty Gear, so I will try. Now about the news, there is no surprise in there. It was something that was going to happen. I expected 2 years. Some people expected months. It was the laying off half of the team. That was bad. And again, let's talk about how this happened. First of all, what I want, this is just my opinion. If I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong. If I'm stupid, tell me I'm stupid. I just want to initiate the discussion and see what can happen from here. One of the things, I did write some bullet points. I will just talk about the scale. It took way too long to make. I don't understand why 10 years. Maybe they changed the way they were going to make it from the first trailers and then from 1v1 into 2v1 with active tasks. That was not good. You don't change the direction of the game if they needed a clear vision. Also, 160 people were working on this thing, so I will say it right here, right now. There is blame in the developers. There was no reason ever to have 160 people in a fighting game, in a free-to-play fighting game. It was just too much. There was no way that it will ever become something that sustainable with 160 people. They needed to trim the fat. I usually go against that because trimming the fat is one of the things that companies do just to increase their revenue and things like that. But in this case, it was something very necessary for the game to continue in 4, 5, 10 years. Second one, this one is the name. Just the name. I don't know. They even make a freaking post to define the name. Something like, you. Come on. You hate Arcane. You hate League of Legends. You hate the world at large, Valorant. There are some really cool things that you can do with the name Strike of Legends. So the game, there is a naming convention already on the somewhat sustainable games of League of Legends. Will Rift, with WR, win rate, League of Legends, LOL, Laughing Out Loud, lore, Legends of Runeterra, lore of the history behind the world. This is nothing. This is nothing. It does not transmit anything. It does not transmit from where is the game. So one of the first things they needed to do is stop smelling terror farts and just do something with Arcane or with League or with Valorant. The name of the continent, or Runeterra, the name of the world. That's what they needed to do, because people will they will be curious about the game, and how to say it, just play it. Now, the next thing, the champions. Some say it's industry plant. I don't think it was quite that. I think it was. And there is another post from this guy, Patrick. With Patrick, and they say we made a lot of risk and we should have made this risky, some bets and things like that. That's a thing that I will hate to talk about it later, but I do believe this was the appeasement for the executives. The thing that they used to say, yeah, look at this, we are trying to make this rentable. Why do I mean this? Let's start with the roster. Mostly Arcane characters. There was no reason to add Echo, there was no reason to add Caitlyn. You added these three. There are the three characters that you need to add for an Arcane. Why? Jinx, Sonner of the game, super popular, and she's very archetypal, so she will sell. She will be beloved by the community. People will hate playing against her, but with enough sass, it will be cool. By a puncher. And Warwick, a non-human character. Those three were perfect. No. You already have a Sonner. There was no reason. Someone just wanted to make a different type of Sonner. That's okay, but at the end of the day, and some say that they wanted to do something Valorant related in a fighting game. No. Playing against her is not enjoyable for newbies, anyone from goes below. They just cannot deal with this. So no. Echo, he broke the game. He always breaks the game. Every time he's in the game, he breaks it. He broke League of Legends, and they had to redo his world kit to make him into an assassin. And anyone remembers Echo with Frozen Gauntlet and some Fire Cave? Legends of Runeterra, he broke the game. He's just not a good fit to a game. After that, Ari, you added her. She will sell skins. Things that they screw with along the way. Just don't add the that many her fireball Rekka make her more. She was supposed to be this kind of assassin with a little bit of safety. That would have been cool, but they just I don't know what were they thinking. It was the fact that this kind of I'll talk about the echo deeply later. But the fact that this design came through, it it was bad. It showed that the game was not made for the players. It was made for the devs, and people who just wanted to play their OC. You don't add everything into a character if you want the game to be sustainable later. Akali, good option, and they actually did not fucked up her kit. They could have added a fireball, a normal fireball, but they did not. I don't know what's behind her, but good job. A little bit too fast, but that's the kind of character that enjoys. Blitzcrank, no. Just no. You wanted to add a grappler? You don't add the one that can grabs you across the screen. That's no. He needed to be changed in ways that make him very uncompetitive, and he had to be buffed over and over again, and now he has become a nightmare to play in lower ranks, and he will continue to be a scrub killer and someone to will at perpetuity for as long as people play this game. That will hate, every casual will hate Blitzcrank, well, being not playable in whatever version of Halo tournament this thing will become. He has not supposed to be added to this game. Every other tank like Alistar or Zac, maybe not Zac, but you get my idea. People with less range to grab you will have been a better fit for this game. He looked cool, but it was just he went. And also, why is the only grappler in the game the also a combo character? He has the longest combos in the game, I think, and that makes him so much that he makes the game less enjoyable in general if he gets to play. So yeah, not good. Brown, he can stay. The problem with Brown is that again, he had a simple kit and he had weaknesses, and because he had weaknesses, he could not compete with the monsters in this game, so they keep buffing and buffing him, and then he went from being someone that you will more or less enjoy playing with and against with if you pick up to not super high power level characters, to one of the less interactive, less fun characters to play against. And with Caitlyn, just I already say what I had to say. Everyone told me that she was no good. At the end of the day, I think she was just unexplored, and because she was boring to play. I think only WoW was a couple of other players showed what she could do, and it was kinda nuts. But again, she's more into play, her gameplay loop is not that interesting. She was just a drag. Darius, he can stay, he needed a couple of to be work a little bit. Also, they should help make him a little bit more Shoto-like instead of that much of a bully, because if people needed an introductory character and he could have that role. The fact that only now that when the game is dying they are releasing the full Shoto character is just nuts to me when I think about it. So yeah, he's a scrub killer. He will continue to be a scrub killer. Maybe they will move him as a final fuck you to everyone before the game lights go out. But yeah, Echo, there was so much wrong with this character. He had too much of everything. He made the game less interactive with his movement and with his fireballs, and you could actually play Echo in a less annoying way, but there was no reason to. Because once he gets you with his fireball, he can do a huge combo. I'm not saying that he's not difficult to play, but he was just... he made the game worse to play. Every time that you face a Echo, you were not in for a good time. Ila, she was a bit too strong, and they needed to remove the fact that her S2, the gold travel the full screen. If they got rid of that, she will have been more or less okay, because she does have troubles with sonars. There is Caitlyn in the game, or you could use other sonars to abuse her low mobility and stupid normals. But they did not. Why? Because the power level in the game, this shit is a sonar. This shit is a sonar that can rush down. This shit is a sonar that can rush down. So they could not remove that. So she was eternally not in a healthy state, and that's it. Also, I already say she could have stayed. Why? Just why? There is plenty of other characters that could have put in the game. They make her a stance character for I don't know why. I hate playing her. She's kind of boring. I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know who thought that she was going to be a good addition. It's just they could have added Poppy. They could, if you want. Also, yeah, a lot of humans, but not enough for the Gunnar demographic. Just Ari really and a couple of skins of characters. So yeah, it was. There were many things that they needed to do to make this. They needed to break this character to make her worth playing because of her stance. And the particular thing with her stance is that you need to get her a resource, and that's just as bad works. If they had made her able to change her stance, maybe just because, maybe she will have been more fun to learn, and she might become a better addition for the game. But at the end of the day, there were many other characters that deserved a spot in the cast more than her, and that's one of the things that I think it needs to be seen. Timo, he should not have been in the game. He's a mascot character, but he's just a mascot character for people who already play. If you had less amount of less zoning, maybe you could have added him, but no. Also, in his current state, because he's a character that has to compete with this and something, and this guy that we will talk about later, they broke him, and as they broke him, they made him even less fun to play against. Like, really, think for a second, like the characters that you kind of have fun playing against are like maybe Akali, Brown when he's not super oppressive, and Darius, Ilaoi when she doesn't know how to use her full tools, Jinx when she's not being super annoying, and that's it. Every other character becomes so annoying to play against, and they stress you out. There is no. Well, I will talk about it as I continue to go, but yeah, he became one of the most obnoxious characters to play against. He had virtually no weaknesses, despite being a summoner who has to have really apparent weaknesses to exploit, and that's just what Thresh, the new addition of the game. He has Axel normals, he has Violent Ken's teleport, he has a really good. He has Fireball. He commands a lot of space. He has a lot of health. He has outside of his zoning normals, he has pretty decent normals. He can jump in the air for some reason. Do I need to say more? He's just an OC. Maybe I'm going to go. I'm going to think about it first. I'm going to say it. Maybe he was designed to be like the final boss in the climb, and that's what they make him like that. But and then they say, oh, he's cool, and we will release him, and that's how he sneaked in the playable roster. But at the end of the day, he just made the game so much worse for everyone that was playing against him. He does have a weakness. If he's trying to zone you and you jump into him, if he whiffs, it's long enough that you can punish him, but it's not reliable, and he can bite you with it. So he made me mostly quit the game because I was not able to take the game really serious when this was running about. But she was a good addition. As much as I hate her, the fact that they needed to break her was because this exists and this exists and this exists. So they needed to make her very, very strong at the two things that she does well, and sometimes she's usually very oppressive and gets really stupid to play against, and if you don't even need to make a real mistake, she just needs a half a chance to punish you for reading. So she makes the game a little bit too stressful in a perfect world where the roster is not as obnoxious, and you can nerf her enough that she is fun to play against. But Warwick, he came here being the anti-sonner, and that was okay. He has a lot of things that are cool, and yeah, he's the only one of two characters that is not a plushie or a human guy that you can say yes, he was a good addition for the game. Yeah, he's the only one that I can see being a good addition. Just his overhead was too much at the time, but he needed that to compete with the monster. So yeah. So this was was quite a trip. He's a strange character. We can just block. Who can just block the projectiles and kill you. He had left, right, up and down ways to open you up, and way too much damage, too many tools. I don't know what they were thinking with this character, but between him and Echo, they raised the power bar so high that during many months no one even was looking at Ari. That's how bad it was. So yeah, if you, as you can see, even if you went through the name and said, yeah, I have is a tag fighter, but I'm curious about that, and you see this reduced stupid roster and picked a couple of characters that you interesting looking characters that you like. At the end of the day, you were going to go about against this guy, this guy, this guy, and this guy, or in this girl, and they were going to ruin your game. Eli was too strong, but she kind of let you play, kind of, sometimes. The other ones, if you're playing correctly the game, they just don't let you play. That's why I think that the game could not grow. It was very difficult. You needed to have a very, very special kind of mindset to go in and say, yes, I'm going to torture myself playing this game against people that are obviously picking characters that are broken, and persevere and go against each character. So yeah. What else? Let me see. Opinions. The balance. Basically, there was no way this game could succeed because you could not balance the game. What do I mean about that? The fuses. There was no reason to put more than 3 fuses. Freestyle, assist for 2, and maybe what's the name? The assistant fuse. Sidekick. Why? A sidekick was more. It was easier to balance that juggernaut because it at least give you proper the assist, the opportunity to how to say, the opportunity to use the assist for the other character to cover for your weaknesses. If you wanted to make Juggernaut so what competitive, it will hate to be completely broken. The one that you can use to that you can connect one super from one character to the super from the other character. It's as I have seen it, it's just used for more damage. This game already has 70% combo, so making it so you can 90% to 100% a character with because of your fuse is just not something that not the gameplay loop that I will recommend for any game. It was just ass. They should have left freestyle left the best fuse, followed by assist for 2, just because one gives you better neutral, while the other gives you better pressure. That was it. I'm sorry, it's just, oh my god. Now the post. This thing. It does has a couple. I'm going to say it. It has a couple of kernels of wisdom in here. If you do need to take some risk, we have seen what a game that takes no risk, has no source or identity, how they die anyway. So that's okay. The thing that I want to say is there needs to be a middle ground. Just you need to make to have a risk, but you need to manage the risk. Okay, you want to make a attack fighter, maybe not have the power level of the champions be so high, and or hate they being so obnoxious. Cut their power, so you have more of a opportunity to learn how to play the game. Yeah, learning how to play the game. Actually, I'm going to talk about this in the balance. No, I'm going to talk about this right now. Why does parry cost you either? Yes, the reward is cool, but you could have reduce the reward and make it so you can parry more frequently, because here's the thing. I want to be as sincere with you. Learning to parry sucks. The risk reward when you're parrying like projectiles, and there's a lot of projectiles in this freaking game, is just ass. And because of that, you end up in a situation where people will have no experience with fighting games, that are just downloading this game for curiosity. They have to go against characters that are balanced around the idea that you know and you will end up parrying them, all while having to learn to parry, and if you don't parry well, you just lost the game. That's just as backwards. In a game that's just as backwards, there's no reason for that. You need to make parry less risk reward and make it into a more integral part of the game, if you wanted to make this with characters that have high power level. That's it. I'm sorry for going to that, but that's what I've been thinking. If someone tells you learn to parry him, they need to shut up and think for a minute that the reason that professional players and YouTubers can make a living out of this is because people want to play the game, and the cash for people to play the game, you need a healthy casual a healthy casual population, and for that you need a game that is not only sauce. You need some meat in the game, some bones in the game to provide structure, to provide to to provide a place where people can just go in, mash, have fun, maybe pretend to parry a couple of hits from someone who actually knows what he's doing, but you make it so the start of the game, getting into it is not that hard. It needs to not be that hard. As I was saying, I will say it. Whenever everyone who did not stop these people from growing a team of more than 50 people, it's guilty of this game not making it, because when you are in development of something, anything, the more people you have, the less you can track the responsibilities for everyone, and people will just see it and suck their thumbs and make it so. So they pretend they are working, or giving the least amount when pretending to giving need their all, and that's it. I think one of the things that he was saying is that there is not a single person who is responsible for what 2xKO came to be. And that is bad. That's bad. You need to accept. You need to make a structure where responsibilities are clear, where there is a clear vision, maybe for a person or a group of 4 to 5 people, of what you want to make, and then make it. 10 years was too much. 5 years will have been okay, but 10 years was just mind-boggling. The fact that people need to take responsibility for the fact that they were just living off of whatever scraps League of Legends was generating, maybe also Valorant. Even Lore managed to create something that will make it so people will sometimes spend money on that one in perpetuity. If you know what I am talking about, is that they make this Balatro like version of the game. It's called a roguelike, and people can spend money on that. So yeah, some people will like that, will get in and play it for a little bit and get out. Well, there is very little reason for Riot to keep the service in perpetuity. It's just they should have focused at least a part of the team into making sure that they could sustain this for more than a couple of years, and that this is that. And the fact that he was okay with sharing these opinions, and to say that yes, I just was having for 10 years and Riot paid me, is that that is a problem, because he was not the only one. If he's comfortable for saying this, and I'm going to assume that he's not stupid and also not a sociopath, then what happened is that the people around him had mostly the same opinion that him, and that it was the vibe that it was inside of it, that we're here to have fun. Sorry to tell you, but a job will always be a job. There were people who were betting careers or people under you that needed this job, and the fact that you did that, did not manage your time and did not manage the risks even a little bit, it's just a way to say that you did not care for these people. I'm sorry. So yes, I am blaming the devs because they could not contain themselves, and so there has been this thing about FGC. Should you make a game for the FGC or the casuals? And I will say the FGC does not really exist as an entity. The FGC is a collection of people who care about fighting games, and everyone starts at zero. So yes, there can be games that are hard to play, and that you make them so people who are really hardcore will hate something to play and show what can be done. But there also needs to, the FGC also hates to hate games that are very, very easy to get into and just smash, and that they are fun to play in if you are just in an introductory level, because those are the games that create the community and are the most followed games. So my recommendation, I don't know if anyone will be seeing this video, is create, if you get the chance, yes, try to make a game with deep, but create characters that can easily communicate. You just see them and you know what you are supposed to do against them. Even if it's archetypal, people will have fun doing it. Even if you need a game that it's fun to play for the people that just pick it up twice a week for a couple of hours between their jobs, spending time for it with their family. From now on, the COVID era is over, and from now on, people will treat. There will be some people whose hobby will be games, and from that there will be a subsection for people that whose hobby is fighting games, and that is a subsection of a subsection. So if you want to carve yourself in it, you need people that you need to make something that is visually appealing. That they succeed in that. The characters look good. I do not agree with every pick, but the characters look good. And and you need something that is easier to pick up. Maybe add a little bit of sauce, and if you make that, you make something that people, the population likes to play, and it's easy to pick up, then the professional players will follow, because that game is going to be talked about, and what it's their job. It's their job to play what's popular. If at the end of the day it's a soggy game, and a game, what I'm talking about, it's a game that's kind of crap, and they will still play it, because the professionals will play what the general population likes them to play. Well, likes to play. That's it. If it's a Smash, they will play. If they like to play Smash, they will play Smash. If you get a King of Fighters game that becomes super successful, they will play that King of Fighters game because that's where the tournaments will be, that's where the sponsors will put their money, and they will follow. You cannot make it backwards. If you make a game for professionals, the professionals will like it. People that follow the professionals will see the game, try it, see that the game is not for them because they don't spend 8 hours a day, 6 days a week for playing these kinds of games, so they will abandon it, and at the end of the day they will not continue playing it. So yeah, make the game, and also it's the financially responsible thing to do, right? If you make a game that more people will be able to play, you can make a game that you like, but the people that pick it because of curiosity, they at least can have fun without spending hours and hours of practice, because not everyone has hours and hours of practice. That's more or less my rant. I will continue to make some videos about this game. I will talk about other things, change the focus of my channel. I will try to make a series talking about the same philosophy behind these characters, because they are a case study. They show us what can be done in these kinds of games, and I will admit it. The characters are not that bad, but they were, if they had been made for a 1v1, they will not have been that stupid. But at the end of the day, you get things like Ari, and she can increase her pressure with using the trash back assist, and that's just so terrible to play against once you go against someone that's good about it. I wanted this to succeed. And now I'm asking, what's the future for Riot and for fighting games? Let's talk about Riot for a minute. Riot, they actually managed to increase the population of League of Legends. I think it was a lot of people returning for Classic, because Mayhem was really fun to play with. Things. It was returning players, so League of Legends will continue to play people for another 5 years until they find a way to. For another 5 years. Mayhem was novelty. It's starting to show his problems. What do I mean by that? If you have gone against a set with dropkick and a couple of with dropkick and a tank engine, you know what those problems are. So yeah, and Classic, it missed the mark. When it came out, I had to wait 1 minute to get a match. Right now I hate to wait 6 minutes. Nothing has changed. So yeah, it's bleeding players. That's okay. Valorant, I haven't heard anything about Valorant. Maybe I'm not moving into circles. I just know that my friends that like to play shooters are not playing it. That's it. Legends of Runeterra, it's a zombie, got lobotomized. Um, Teamfight Tactics, it's boring. To me, it's boring, so I'm not going to talk about it. If you like it, good. If not, then I don't know. Riot Forge got just it just got closed. It I do feel that is another thing that they could kill it along with lore. So let's put it in that about the music videos. After through the match was not really a success. Heard still, I don't know what they were thinking, but blah. They haven't done much with them, right? And so that's that. Arcane, the second season, killed the first season, so they got lost in their south, and the Echo and his relationship, to me, it was just creepy. If you know, you know. Then after that, there was supposed to be a Noxus series, but I hate no hoping that because Mel is in there and it just will continue to carry with the arcane baggage. So yeah, they are still cooking the MMO. It has been like 10 years and it will continue to cook for another 5, I think. The problem with that is that after all of this has happened, who is going to spend money on a new Riot project? Yeah. Yes, the card games. The card game. The thing about the card game, I think, is what has been successful, but let's see how much that lasts, because card games usually have 1 to 2 years of life before either power creep gets in, or their first set rotation. After the first set rotation, if they hate that, let's see how they do before starting to spend money on that, at least for me. That's it. Riot will continue to live, but I think this was one of the biggest wounds that they have sustained, and that's bad. About the FGC, for what I've seen, there is no big game coming, so that's that. Mortal Kombat 1 has problems. For what I've seen, they butchered some of the identities of the characters, so that happens. It managed to be successful because it has a because it has a healthy casual population, but that's it. Street Fighter is boring people. They are trying not to not ruin what they have, but not taking risk is also taking a risk. So let's see how it goes. At the end of the day, if the game dies, they can just make Street Fighter 7 eventually. City of Wolves is dead. It's fucking dead. King of Fighters has been dead for years. Stripe, I'm going to try to get into it, but I hate no opinions. It seems fun, but someone gifted it to me, but to get the character that I want to play, I will hate to pay money. So, yeah. Well, maybe I'm going. What can we say about the FGC? It will continue to be there because no fighting game is ever going to die. Even if they shut down the servers, there will be people who will run their servers for it to scale the same way that people still run tournaments of Melee despite Nintendo trying to kill them in their sleep. So that's it. There is this YouTuber. I'm going to leave there. I'm going to leave them the form for science of a way that an alternative of maybe hiring people from the community to help with the game and maintenance, and maybe make it so the game doesn't outright dies. Also, did you like the game? Will be the bundle, because at the end of the day, I hear a lot of people saying, yes, I like the skins, but they are too expensive. Well, if you have $40 to throw in the trash and you were going to use it to buy cigarettes or booze or whatever, you can just show your appreciation for this game, because it gives me some fun and a lot of fun times. So yeah. Also, and maybe if they sell enough $14 skin bundles, they might get a team of people to release a champion once a year or every 2 years or twice a year, and with some skins in a bundle, and sell it as like this kind of battle pass and continue the game, right? Maybe that's the middle ground that we are trying to find. That's it. I'm just trying to process this. I just wanted to continue playing this game and talking about the champions, how they were made. I will continue doing it. It's not because the game is dead, but I will need to find other things to talk, because at the end of because I want to get some attention to this, because it was beautiful in certain ways and so stupid in others. It was a fun train crash to be with you, and I hope everyone has fun from now on.